Do you fully trust the mainstream narrative? Are you on the fence? Well, if this is the first time finding this channel or hearing anything about the previous civilization, get ready to have your mind blown. We are given the St. Anne Shrine, located in Fall River, Massachusetts. We are given the mainstream history, where we are told the church was designed by Canadian architect Napoleon Bourassa in the Romanesque revival style, with construction beginning in 1891. Well, I have located a postcard from over 120 years ago of this building, and there is a major flaw on the back of this postcard that I don't think that anyone was ever meant to see, and we're about to see it right now. St. Anne's Church and Shrine, Fall River, Massachusetts, founded in 1869, which is 22 years before they tell us that construction was just starting on this project in 1891. Not only do they give us this date of 1869, they also say that it was founded. We have proven in episode 35 that the legal definition of the word founded is not constructed or built. You do not find your home, you build your home. It is constructed. In 1869, they found this building, and they are attempting to lie to us in the narrative time and time again. This time we can see the lie right on the table for everybody to see. What a horrible mistake by the narrator. It is 100% undeniable proof that the story is lying to us, with a total mix-up, having this 1869 founded date on the back of a postcard that they thought nobody would ever see. This building was not built by people riding around on horses and wagons. This building was found. It was built by the previous civilization that had incredible knowledge and architecture skills and understood how to construct buildings that last forever. Welcome to episode 51 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. And I want to thank all of our sponsors over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com. You can check out his app. I'll put the link in the description, and you can use my referral code, MLB. The app is awesome. It shows a lot of videos that are really hard to find. They've got them all in great playlists. He also has my lunch break on the homeschool section of the app, which is really cool. Thank you for that. Thank you to Rebecca Kay, Don Gaston, Jason Brunson, Christopher Arietta, The Lady Lacey Show, David and Sherry Ferguson, Edwin Johnson, Chuck Templeton, Edwin Rice, Joy Lee, Leslie Pipkins, PNR, Stephanie Nolan, The Burlesons, Suez KC, Dan Woodall, Corey Franks, Buck Suey, Dale, DJ Clicktrack, Edward and Brianna, Jacob Law, Jim Ribley and Christine Duggan, Kyle Glascock, Maddie B and Never the Prez, Tim Rack, Two Spirit, William Richard Jeffries V, and Zach Bronco. You guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. So now that we know that this building was founded and the narrative is a complete lie, let's take a look into this architect character, Mr. Napoleon Bourassa. And when we take a look at his biography, the character never actually leaves Canada, besides a little vacation to Europe. If he is truly constructing this palace in Massachusetts, this would have been mentioned, considering it's more impressive than anything we have ever constructed today. But the fact that they act like this is pathetic and not even worth mentioning, especially in a time period where presidents were being born in sheds. This should be alarming to anyone. They say his office is in Quebec, Canada, born in Montreal, Canada, visited Europe, founded the Canadian Journal, doing more in Montreal, Canada, in 1880 finding the National Gallery of Canada. Him and his fellow artists are doing more in Quebec, Canada, then dies in Canada. Where is the part that he throws his cowboy hat on, saddles up, heads down to Massachusetts on his horse and wagon, and works for the shipping company Donkeys Incorporated, and knocks out a massive palace? It's not in the narrative, because Napoleon Dynamite didn't do this. It was already found in 1869, exactly like we have shown. The narrative is fully lying to us. And we have fully documented this throughout the first 50 episodes. Now, we have talked about the Samuel Hannaford and Sons in episode 24, I believe. And I thought I would let you all know that they also decided to knock this building out, the Greene County Courthouse in Ohio. And don't forget that they were just incredible. Their chisels just moved a little faster than the rest of ours. Beginning this project in 1901 and completing it in less than 12 months. The winters, of course, weren't an issue. They never were in the 1800s. Honestly, I would love to see someone in 2023 or 2024 try and recreate this project in less than a year. It wouldn't even be close, and we all know this now. So we might ask, in 1901 to 1902, we were able to get these projects done so fast all over the world. It was so easy. What happened? Where did this technology go? Why do we not still do this today? The answer is clear at this point. These stories aren't true. These buildings were not built in 1 year. They were found and repurposed. They used the same architect characters from multiple buildings to attempt to explain them away. We lost this technology within the last 122 years to construct massive structures in a year? No. Our timeline never had this technology, and we are being lied to. Just adding in primary features of 4,500-pound clocks that are inside of a clock tower that reaches 145 feet into the sky. With perfection, of course. Oh, and the 4,500-pound clock inside of the frame that weighs an additional 3,000 pounds, and of course every hour, still ringing today. This alone would have taken us 5 years to get done. Considering it takes us like a year to get a sidewalk done, and our sidewalks fall apart in like 5 years. This building, on the other hand, with a clock tower and all, will be there forever, as long as nobody touches it. In September of 2022, we have an article in the Dayton Daily News, where apparently the building needs our help. We all know that restoration really means destruction at this point. In my opinion, something happened within the last year or so, where a lot of these buildings are being destroyed or restored. And we have a lot of episodes where we have gone to these places and documented that. The Greene County Courthouse will be getting a facelift. Oh, incredible. This fall, as the county seeks to repair and restore and destroy the exterior of the historic building. A $322,000 project to destroy the outside of the old building, which is obviously one of Greene County's most recognizable landmarks. And this next sentence is going to show how old this building really is. The courthouse currently has some limestone that is spalling and in need of repairs. The definition of the word spalling is break off in fragments. Now, how long does it take for stone to break down? You could say that stones decompose over many thousands and even millions of years. Do we all believe that this limestone is spalling in just 100 years? Or is this building much older than we are told? I'd like you to comment below with your opinion. But you all know which way I'm leaning. Incredible stuff. Oh, and of course, they've wanted to do this for a very long time. I mean, how much clearer could this get? This building was not built in less than a year in 1901 to 1902. They've wanted to fix the spalling stone for a long time. And I have to be honest, I don't even know if they realize what they're saying at this point, but they're actually admitting that it's way older than 1901, whether they realize it or not. And of course, additional destructions will be made to the courthouse that they just aren't going to let us know about. Now, this was all back in 2022, so I'm guessing it'll all be done by now, considering it supposedly only took them less than a year to complete the entire building in 1901 to 1902. And we're evolving and advancing, right? Now, while researching this, I thought Greene County only had one courthouse, which they do, but all of a sudden, I was sitting there with two Greene County courthouses, but they're both in a county called Greene. What is with the AI repeating itself over and over? Duplicates all the time. Is this how all the names were created? For all the towns, all the cities, all the characters that they give us? Is this even how our last names were generated? It's all so strange. So we have the Greene County Courthouse that we just talked about over in Ohio, but we have another Greene County in Illinois with another courthouse that was supposedly constructed in less than a year. So both built in less than a year. And this one is even older than the last one that we just talked about. Built in a year from 1891 to 1892. And we all know that this is logistically impossible at this point. We have gone over this for anyone that is new here, or for anyone that wants to revisit this. I think episode 41 is awesome at going over this. There are so many key factors that come into play when designing, preparing, constructing, and executing a building to perfection. You have to have everything go perfect. And even then, knocking it out in a year, over 130 years ago, is insane. It's almost turning into a test to see who gets the joke at this point. Both named the same thing, and both built in less than a year. In an interview from 2014, the Greene County clerk and recorder says in an article titled Greene County Courthouse stands the test of time. Exactly what we've been saying here on this channel. And of course, exactly how our construction that we only take 10 months on lasts forever. It stands the test of time. Oh, it doesn't? No, it doesn't. So she says, we have done some rewiring and other things like that, but that's about the only thing wrong with the place. Knocking it out in a year. Good forever. Very standard work for the 1890s, because they just worked harder than us, of course. Just more dedicated. Less distractions and less code restrictions. Yeah, sorry, but that doesn't cut it anymore. The 3-story limestone Romanesque revival style building will be there forever, as long as they leave it alone. So in the article, they start saying that there were multiple courthouses here before this one. Because why not? And we all know at this point that this is the first courthouse. It's the only one that's ever been here. But I wanted to see what they had to say about all of these other courthouses. So the county was created in 1821. What do you know? They knocked a courthouse out in 1821 to 1822. Now, we have talked a lot about reoccurring names, and this is not the first time we've seen this. I brought it up before, and I'm going to bring it up again. Episode 43, for anyone new here, is the best example of this. The AI is generating these names and these stories, in my opinion. And here, we have another example of this. The courthouse was a long frame structure and was built by William Finley and another Finley, Thomas. So those names would be fine if we didn't have hundreds of examples of this. We would just say that they are brothers. The problem is that we know what is going on here. It isn't brothers. And I will prove this because in the exact same paragraph, we have Thomas Finley and Thomas Ratton. Multiple Thomases and multiple Finleys. The odds are 0%. There is no chance that this is remotely possible, especially with all of the hours and hours of documented evidence that we have provided. This has happened so many times. This is becoming clearer and clearer by the week. It's in every single city, every single town, all over the world. It's the exact same thing. In the comments section, you guys are all saying the exact same thing in your towns, where you find a fire story, and you find the same thing with reoccurring themes and names. It's the same thing all over the world. These are AI-generated names, in my opinion, where they throw a bunch of names into this system and it twists them a little bit, making each story basically the same thing, but just dedicated to that one specific spot. It's undeniable at this point. And then you have the classic half windows at the current ground level, where there is clearly more to this building under the ground, and most likely a tunnel system connecting it to surrounding buildings. Now it is time to go to Brazil, more specifically Rio de Janeiro, where we have the National Library of Brazil that was shipped from Europe in 3 shipments and easily put together in the year 1810. This was a standard construction process in the year 1810, 213 years ago, and wrapped right up in 1811, 1 year. I don't even understand how anyone can even think to question this narrative. It must be a crazy person. Anyway, let's question it. The history of the National Library began on the 1st of November in 1755, when Lisbon suffered a violent earthquake. Now, it's possible that they had an earthquake, but honestly, it could have been an explosion of some kind. So, this is clearly, in my opinion, an attempt to find a way to explain why the exact same type of architecture style structures that are all the way over in Portugal are also in Brazil, which is a total of 7,695 miles away from each other. They are telling us they shipped this massive building 7,000 miles, and this was normal. I keep bringing this up, but it's to keep perspective on what they're telling us, that they lived in sheds Yet they could just simply Amazon Prime a palace and get it put together no problem, and it's there forever, with the help of their cowboy and Indian friends. This is actually insane when you put it all out there like this, especially when you see that they had to come up with a date and assign that date as the official founding date of the National Library. This is the date that they found it. Look at the size of this thing. This was shipped perfectly without a single issue over the sea for 7,000 miles 200 years ago. Which shipping company was used? How many men? Which company put it all back together so that it would be there forever without an issue? Why are we not being told the information that we need to hear in order to fully trust the narrative? Well, because this never happened, in my opinion. And I found this photo from 1909 where they're trying to tell us that this is a construction photo. Now, for anyone that needs to revisit episode 49, this building is done. There is zero construction going on here. They are simply painting this building. The scaffolding is for the painting, not building. You can even see the columns are all in place. The whole thing is done. There is no building going on here. How can they get away with saying that this is construction when it's clearly done? 100% for show and 100% for this photo. They are putting a brand new coat of paint on this thing and saying, look, it's brand new. Just DoorDashed it from Portugal. Oh, and we all caught that, right? This is a construction photo from 1909. But the problem, they told us that this thing was founded in 1810, 100 years prior. Honestly, the narrative is unraveling so fast. It's incredible to see in real time. And I just got some breaking news that a fire broke out on November 22nd, 2023 at the Tesla Science Center in Shoreham. This is going right along with our fire narrative. It is 100% still happening today, where this hidden group is destroying these old world buildings and calling it a fire. They collect the insurance check and nobody is standing there with a wrecking ball, ready to be blamed at the end of the day. The fire, or as we know here, a demolition, is the key to understanding which buildings are from the previous civilization. Because time and time again, we have proved that they do not give us the person, or they give us the dumbest reason as to how these fires start, or simply no reason at all. For this one, we are told that the cause of the fire is not yet known. And honestly, they're never gonna tell us the real reason, because we know what the real reason is. The building dates back to 1901, supposedly. It is definitely earlier than that, but let's continue. 1901, and was the final standing laboratory of American inventor Nikola Tesla. I'll keep you all updated if there's anything more on this. But just another eye-opener, that this is a very real thing that is still happening in real time. So 1901, this building is built. 1902, Tesla moves in and gets all of his projects done here until 1906. Are any of us shocked that Tesla supposedly worked in Budapest, a city that is well documented here on this channel, that is my clear-cut #1 city in the world when it comes to this research? What was he told in Budapest as the head of Budapest Telephone Exchange? What did he learn there and then bring over here to the USA to kickstart all of the old world technology in this current timeline? The whole thing is very interesting. And before we get into the bonus for today, I want to take a minute and thank all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. You are all helping this channel out a lot, and I'm very thankful for the support. And want to remind everyone that I am, and always will be, over on Rumble as well. The link to that is in every video's description. All right, let's get into the bonus. I have founded this photo of the Summer Street fire. And honestly, these are brick buildings. Fires don't look like bombs went off. This is not the result of a fire, in my opinion. It looks like the city was carpet bombed. It's just completely wiped out. It's a total mess. Fires don't do this kind of damage. I mean, it looks like the whole area is in the middle of a garbage site at this point. There's just dirt everywhere. There's nothing left. And remember, there was a great fire in nearly every major city. Check it out. I guarantee there was one in a city near you. So, were these really fires? Or were they being bombed to wipe these buildings out that were everywhere? Buildings that we have shown that hold dates on them, buildings that 100% do not fit in our timeline. It's incredible stuff. I mean, look at these photos. This is the result of a fire? No. In my opinion, there is no way. House fires do not melt stone and brick. It has to be close to 1,500 degrees to 2,000 degrees to melt stone. And house fires simply don't get that hot. Look at the destruction. The ground is really messed up. I mean, what building was in this location that they did not want us to see? Just knowing what we know, seems like it was probably a good one. And just a few more photos here showing the destruction of these fires that started by a cow tipping over a lantern. But at least they switched it up. From horses and cowboys to the stone and marble shipping company, Donkeys Incorporated, to a cow, just rubbing it right in our faces for decades. Until now.